Welcome to the Nightcap. I'm Nick.
And I'm Scott.
We're here.
We are. I don't know why that was all NPR there.
No.
I wasn't doing this.
That's true.
I said, welcome to the Nightcap. I feel like I should have a velvet robe and a bubble pipe. You know?
Yes. I'm sorry. Go on. What are you doing?
Swallowing really hard.
Oh, is that
so
what
you
you were
can hear
doing?
in the microphone. Listen.
I'm listening.
If you're watching this not live, f5live.tv. Go check that out. Subscribe. Connect, engage, subscribe. Do all of these things. It's a whole thing. It's got a Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter. It's all over the place. I didn't mention any of that in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Did I? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Just checking. If you're just joining us, this is on the heels of episode 348. We talked to Avram Pilch from Laptop Mag / Tom's Guide. Laptop Guide.
Laptop guide? Yeah, probably not that.
Tom's Mag? What was the one we were supposed to buy?
Tom's List.
Tom's List.
It's like Craigslist.
Right. Where we talked about Avram getting hated and a bunch of stuff because he writes truthful things about the iPhone. Sorry. I want to talk about something that's bothering me real quick.
Okay.
These headphones aren't level and they're driving me insane. All show, Avram was super loud. You were louder than me and I was very low, but I was coming up okay here. Not now. I don't know why.
Because you weren't actually into the microphone.
I see that
like
now.
Talking like this. I don't know why I'm not as loud as I normally am.
No. I mean,
how could that possibly
not
happen
not
to
right
me?
then. The whole show.
Oh.
I was lower. Like I was listening. I couldn't hear myself, so I was just making it up as I go. I was assuming I was being heard.
You were.
I know.
You were being heard just fine.
I know. But it's bothering. I don't know what's going on here. First show back from a trip. Always. We just need to get a second one of these.
Well, good news. We only have one more before we go on another trip.
Right.
So, speaking of trips, last week,
Yes.
we were at the first robotics competition.
That's the thing
Orlando Regional in Orlando. And we saw robots. Hooray, robots. If you want to see our... Ooh, that went weird. If you want to see our show from last week, f5live.tv/FRC. We'll get you the full 2-hour episode as well as 12 individual segments broken out separately. You can also, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you look off to your right, you'll probably see them. They're blue.
And they're great. Hey,
can.
I can hear now.
Excellent. Welcome back.
Whoa. Just yelling about it. Fixed it.
Okay. So, with that said, we did not do a nightcap last week because this stuff is difficult to do on the road. So, this week's question is related to last week's episode. And the question is, what is the most interesting thing you saw in the pits? Now, for those of you who have not been to one of these things, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a... Nope, not that. It's an engineering thing. It's no different than NASCAR or whatever. There's pits and there's the field, and you've got to go somewhere to make repairs and all of that. So in the pits, you'll see branded things, and the teams are all very excited about their teams for good reason. Plus, they're also judged partially in the pits, so they have to have some spirit back there. So the question is, most interesting thing you saw in the pits. Now, for me, it's one of the things that first really focuses on is what they call gracious professionalism, which is doing the right thing despite its effect on you, for good or bad. Just do the right thing because it's the right thing. And it's something that we see throughout First a lot. We've seen teams give up hours of their time and sacrifice lunch to be able to help a team and things like that. And after hours on Friday, the pit was closing. And actually, they were trying to force us to leave, even. there was a kid who was a little lost, a little frustrated. There was a problem that he was trying to overcome, and he didn't know how to solve it because he was missing a tool. It may have already been cleared from the pit. His team may have gone. He was by himself and frustrated, needed to solve whatever the problem was. And he came up to one of our local teams, and this was a team that I don't recognize, so probably from outside of our direct area. And very, like, he really had to focus down. He's like, okay. So he walks into their pit, and he says, so I have this problem. I need whatever. Can you help me? And the mentor for that team, who is just this kind of person anyway, she says, absolutely. What tool do you need? He says, well, I need whatever it was. It didn't matter at the time for me. And she says, well, whatever you're going to be using this for, it's going to take you longer than we're going to be here. So make me a promise that you'll bring this back. And he made a promise. She handed him the tool, and off he went to do whatever it was in the final moments of being in the pit for Friday evening, with the promise that he would return said tool to the booth. And I love seeing stuff like that. And I won't mention either of the teams specifically, but my guess is you probably have figured out who it was already. The mentor for this team is the embodiment of the gracious professionalism title in everything that she does. We've had the pleasure of working with her a lot, and I really like it. So
cool.
That was mine.
I didn't even see that. That's cool.
No, you were off talking to Exploding Bacon at the time, and I wandered down to get some stock footage.
Cool.
Actually used the footage of that exchange while the guy from Exploding Bacon was talking about, you feel bad if you can't help, that conversation that we had. I actually used the footage of that exchange.
Yep. Got it. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. We get the opportunity to hear about it, especially as judges. We hear about teams helping
all the time.
But we don't get the opportunity to see it that often, and to be standing there in the middle of a conversation. She broke conversation to help this kid before they cleared the pit. And I thought that was really cool. So
for me, it's not as heartwarming, but I find it really cool that I can walk into a place like that, having background, no first experience, anything except these past 5 months. And seeing a CES-like approach to their booths. Like, their booth could cost more than their robot. At times. Projector aside. Their booth could still cost more than the robot.
And if you're curious what we're talking about the projector, F5live.tv/FRC, look at the one from Exploding Bacon.
Exploding Bacon. That should give you enough proof that it's awesome.
There's a lot of really interesting teams.
But just being able to see kids and mentors and adults and whomever all come together and build these crazy booths that TVs and electronics and fluorescent lights and neon lights and glitter and glowing things and marquees and flags and weapons and just everything.
And they manage to, like, the kids have a theme for their team, and they really buy into their own branding.
Yeah.
In a way that's really cool and sometimes frightening.
Sometimes better than most companies.
Yes.
Which is scary.
Exploding Bacon's a good example of that. Combat was a good example of that. Hydra. I mean, they're so committed to their brand. They've got 7 of them.
It's great. So that for me is awesome, because I look around and I'm like, okay, I have key executives I've talked to and done business with that can't put branding together as good as this.
Yeah.
That can't make something stand out like this at CES.
Yep.
You go unnoticed because I don't know who you are.
Because it's just a booth with the white cardboard sign that CES provides so that you can find your booth.
Yet, every booth, every pit stop, every tent area in the pits it's for the same thing. It's for a robot that throws a thing or does a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter the competition. Yet they're all different.
Yes, they are.
When at CES, every company is all different. All their booths look the same. I find that frustrating.
Yeah.
Central Hall aside. Like South 2, back Central, back North. Like those places all look the same.
Upstairs.
Blech.
Yeah.
It's boring to me. That stuff is cool.
It really is.
And I really like it. And it's not like they spend, sometimes, yeah, more than the robot, but most of the time they're making these things themselves, which is kind of cool. And then some guy shot a video, like a sports package of their robot in action and put that on a TV to watch with sports music and highlights and text.
Yep.
I'm like, you made an ESPN documentary out of this. You are the coolest person in this room. Like, that's cool to me.
Did it happen to be one of the teams sponsored by Disney? Is it possible that ESPN did?
That is possible. I don't know. That is possible.
Because there were several teams there sponsored by Disney.
Yep. Yeah, that for me is the coolest thing I saw,
Yeah.
because it's just watching high school kids put that together.
And being so invested
Yeah.
in it that they want to put it together. You know, the team that we work with for FTC is so committed to their brand that the company whose brand they're using actually sent them product.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of product. They weren't allowed to sponsor them officially, but sent them cases and cases of product.
That's cool.
Which I thought, you know, it. And they tried. They contacted them actively because they were so committed to their brand that they wanted to share it.
So yeah, that's mine. Have you guys ever been to a robotics competition? I don't know if you have. It's free.
I would say if not, you should.
Because it's free.
usfirst.org, click on events in my area.
And then tell us what's the craziest thing you've seen. Hashtag Nightcap at PLuGHiTz Live on Twitter. Follow us on Google+. So that's our Nightcap. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Next week, another Nightcap.
It's true.
And the week after, probably not.
Probably not.
Because it'll be daytime.
Fair enough. It will be daytime, and it's difficult to do a nightcap in the daytime.
Especially when you're not in this mood lighting that we have.
Right.
That we changed to. For this show only.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I'm Nick.
And I'm Scott.
Thanks for watching F5live.tv. Go check the content out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Ciao.